Hey mathematicians, it's JP from GeekyTG. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do grid method long division using a 3-digit dividend, a 1-digit divisor, with a 0 in the quotient, as well as a remainder. So notice that before I've started, I've turned my paper 90 degrees so that my blue lines are going vertically. I like to use these when I'm adding and subtracting across my dividend. It really helps me to line up my place values and keep my numbers straight. So today we're going to be dividing 682 by 4. So before we get started, we need to figure out how many boxes we need by counting the digits in our dividend. So I have 1, 2, 3 digits, which means I'm going to need 3 boxes. So I like to give myself 1, 2, 3 columns. I find it's just the right amount of room for when I start dividing. So 3 columns in each box, and I need a total of 3 columns for each digit in my dividend. So once I have my boxes, I can go ahead and move those digits one at a time into my boxes. So I'm going to start in my farthest place value. So the hundreds place, I have a 6. I'm going to put that 6 in my first box. Notice that I'm putting that digit in the farthest right-hand column within the box. My next digit is in the tens place, which is an 8. My last digit is in the ones place, 2, and notice each digit is in the farthest right-hand column within their box. My divisor is going to stay outside of my box just like it normally would for standard algorithm division. Now before I get started, I need to do my multiples of 4 as well as write down my division steps. So I'm going to put my multiples of 4 off to the side here. And notice that I'm using those blue lines to line up my place values. My 1s are in the 1s columns, my 10s are in the 10s column. Okay. Now that I have my multiples, I can do my division steps. I like to use the does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers regularly. So I'm going to divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring up, and repeat. Okay, so now that I have my multiples and I have my division steps, I can start dividing. So I'm only going to look at this first box when I start dividing. And I'm going to ask myself, how many times can 4 divide into 6? So looking at my multiples, 4 can only divide into 6 one time. After I divide, I'm going to multiply. 1 times 4 is 4. After I multiply, I can subtract. 6 minus 4 is 2. Then I'm going to check. I'm going to ask myself, is my remainder smaller than my divisor? 4 is smaller than 2. So if I can answer yes, I can bring that digit up, that remainder, up into my next box, creating a new dividend of 28. So again, I'm going to ignore the boxes behind it, and I'm only dividing into this middle box, this 28. So 4 divides into 28, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. After I divide, I can multiply. 7 times 4 is 28. After I multiply, I'm going to subtract. 8 minus 8 is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. Then I'm going to check. Is my remainder, this 0, smaller than 4? Yes. So I can go ahead and bring that 0 up into the next box. Now I'm finally dividing into my last box. So I need to ask myself, how many times can 4 divide into 2? Well, 4 can't divide into 2. So I'm going to put a 0 above that 2, and I'm going to multiply 0 times 4, which is 0. After I multiply, I'm going to subtract. 2 minus 0 is 2. 0 minus 0 is 0. So I'm going to ask myself, is my remainder smaller than my divisor? Yes. So I've completed my steps correctly, but this means, because I have no more boxes to bring that digit up to, that is going to be my remainder. So I'm going to bring it up, put it at the end of my quotient. So my quotient is 170 with a remainder of 2. I can check my work by doing 170 times 4. finding that product and then adding my remainder after I find that product. And I should get a total of 682.